Hey, what's going on, working class hustlers of America and all over the globe? My name is Horace, also known as La Machine, and this is what to sell on Amazon. Let's go. On this channel, we talk all things selling on Amazon using the arbitrage business model. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to do it right now and hit the bell notification so that you won't miss any of the great content that we come out with. And real quick, I offer you the option to get connected with me, and that would be actually right through my cell phone. That costs you absolutely nothing. And by doing that, you can ask me your quick questions, tips, advice, or anything that I might be able to help you out with just as soon as I have a minute. If you watch the channel, you're always hearing me yapping. And so what's great about today is it's not about me. It's about the working class hustler panel. Yes, that is a few of us. And what we do is come together as a group in order to help you out. And we can address your issues, problems, concerns as a panel and collectively try and help you so that you can advance your business. So welcome. Our panel today consists of Brian, Mr. Peebles. Say hi, Brian.
Hello, everybody.
The lovely Miss Sarah Mack. Say hi.
Hey, everybody.
And the wonderful Miss Dina Ray.
Hello.
Long time. Hey, long time hustler. She goes back to before we even broke 1,000 subscribers. And we've just been moving on. So it's time for me to throw on the glasses, teach the masses. You know, when you get to be my age, you can't hardly see. So, oh, wow. Who just showed up with that working class hustler shirt on? Miss Karen.
I've been working, been hustling.
Yes.
Oh, look at Sarah there. I see it.
Yeah, I did it.
I like it.
So right off the bat, hustlers, I can tell you last week, you got to remember, guys, if you're watching, all of us are actually sellers on Amazon. So we don't just talk the talk, we walk in the walk. And I can tell you guys, last week was a little slower in terms of sales volume. How about you guys? Round the horn. Mr. Peebles, how was sales?
You know, they were okay. I'm still making a transition from the books over to new stuff, but I am definitely moving forward at a fast pace.
Okay, Sarah, how was sales last week?
Pretty good. I'm still waiting for a lot of inventory to be processed at the warehouse, but shoes moved really great this week. You could see back to school. I'm also trying to see how well my textbooks moved, see if I'm going to stay in books or just keep on going with apparel.
Okay. And Karen, how about you? How's sales?
Yeah, it seemed that maybe the third week of August kind of dipped. The month of August was really good, and then the third week dipped, but then I was able to somehow finish strong towards the end of last week. Like Sarah, sort of back to school kind of items started really coming in. So, but I am seeing slowing with the FBA shipments, with them getting,
Oh, you mean
pushed out.
Okay. All right. They're getting slow on us in terms of how they're moving the inventory and having it available.
Or I thought it was, I think it was slower. I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but I feel like it's gotten a little slower.
Yeah, for me, it all depends on the warehouse. Most of us who sell have our, I guess you would call it our main warehouse where most of our things get shipped to. That one is moving according to schedule. Things are pretty good for me, but it's the other ones, so.
What about Brian? How about you?
So mine usually check in fairly quick, sometimes within 72 hours from me shipping it from the house. However, this last shipment that I sent in, it's been almost 3 weeks, and I'm still waiting it to, get
Whoa.
to the warehouse. So yeah, I don't know. And I've also heard that, people will have a delay sending in one shipment, but then they'll send in another shipment after that. And that second shipment gets checked in quicker and faster than the first one that they're still waiting on. So who knows?
Wow. Let's take a minute and go through some of the content here. By the way, if you have not said hello out in the chat, say hello and let us know where you're from. Looks like our good friend Mikey is out there. He's one of the working class hustlers that actually really kills it out there. So he's in the building.
Oh. All right.
He's doing his thing. He loves to share his success in order to encourage us. We got the lovely Miss Sheila Gay from Tennessee, longtime hustler. She was there with me on the very first live stream and has been a supporter since the channel went live back in November of 2017. Let's see what else we got out there. Edith! Edith is one of the hustlers who's been with us for a good while, going back to our private Zoom calls. Jose Arroyo. He's from Auburndale, Florida, and new to Amazon selling. Welcome aboard. You could not have picked a better time to do it. If you have any questions, you came out here to give your time. So now's the time. You got the whole panel. If there's any concerns that you have, let us know. Looks like Marie McFarlane says, I have a shipment still waiting to be checked in 6 weeks. Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord. That is so unfortunate. We wish you Godspeed with that. Ethan, my friend, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. And there's Linda Wright from Washington. There's Game Room 36 from Oklahoma. Thanks, guys. Mish from Inglewood, California. New to FBA. Let us know. Do you actually have your account going? Have you gotten started? And is there anything that we can help you with? And on that note, I'm looking through some of the comments on Friday's video. Friday's video, guys, if you didn't check it out, for those of you who use tactical arbitrage, it's about how I set my filters. And Judy D said newbies are really restricted. Newbies are really restricted in so many things. Very discouraging. I have something to say about that, and then we're going to go around the horn. I think, now if you follow me, you kind of know my mindset, you know my thinking. I don't really encourage newbies to really be getting preoccupied with trying to get ungated and everything and worried about trying to sell these exciting and sexy products, because there are a lot of things that you can sell, a lot of things without being ungated. So if you're having some problems, we need to get together, hop on a quick call or something. I'm actually, next week we're going to go live, and I'm planning to do a master class where I'm showing tactical arbitrage. But the biggest part of that, if you guys come out, as we find products, we drop those ASINs right in the chat so that you can take advantage of them. And all I focus on is ungated, because this channel is primarily towards the newbie. So, and that's all I work with. So I know there are products that you can sell. Let's go around the horn with that. Mr. Peoples, what would you say in terms of a newbie being frustrated that they can't sell anything?
So, used media, that's, one place to start. Besides that, if we're talking new products, clothes for the most part is open to everybody. Maybe not some of the bigger brands, but clothes for sure. A lot of the household and kitchen items. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, all the different categories. Baby, um, maybe some of the, I don't know if beauty's open to everybody when they first start. You might want to check into that, but just, when you go on the Amazon website and you look at the different categories, or when you log into Amazon Seller Central, you'll be able to tell which categories you can sell in. And then, focus in that, focus in kitchen, focus in clothing, focus on baby, and, get those down. Yep.
Great. How about you, Sarah Mack? What would you what would you say in terms of newbies being frustrated because they can't sell nothing? Or Karen, did you want to take that?
Well, I think there are so many products. I mean, there are so many products, and you just never know. But I think when you're a newbie, Horace, you really said it in the beginning. Don't try to pick up Nike and the big bigs. Don't try for those, because in the beginning you are probably going to be gated in those. But there are a lot of other kinds of things. Kitchen, Brian mentioned, books. But I probably wouldn't want to limit it, because I feel like there are things in virtually every category, or most categories, not all, but in most categories that you can sell. You just have to find the right one. And it's tough going in the beginning, trying to find them. You just go through a lot, but and over time you start to get some wins. And when you find a particular brand you can sell, then you start looking for more things in that brand, and then you get another one, and it goes on from there.
Let me piggyback on you as we take a moment to welcome another set of panelists, Nate and Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us. They have a lot of value. If you didn't get a chance to catch the live stream last week, it's out there. Watch it. They were at an event. They took their time and effort to actually give us footage that was tremendous. There's so much you guys could learn. Say hello, Nate and Elizabeth. Wave to the world for us. Thanks. Let me piggyback on that, though, Karen, because you kind of mentioned something that I think is so important for newbies. When you come out here to Amazon, you got to understand there is a process. You're not just going to come out here and start knocking down 10 grand a month. You got to build up to that. So when you come out here, and I kind of wanted Karen to take this back a bit before we move on to another panelist. When you start where you can. And it's going to be, like you said, kind of tough going at first. But over time, what will happen is you will start to actually get ungated automatically in certain categories, in certain brands. And it actually, in the end, when you look back, you may have come into this thinking you want to go. And you're throttled back at first because of how things work. But in retrospect, once you get to the level where you can start selling things, you'll understand it was good. It was good because you start getting auto ungated around the time where you're really ready, when you've had some experience, when you kind of know what you're doing. You earn your right to sell in more and more categories, more and more brands. Could you add to that a little bit, Karen?
I would agree 100%. I'll tell you something that just happened to me. I have been selling for a little while, but and had started to purchase liquidation lots to sell. But I got a liquidation lot, and some of the products I could sell, but a lot of the products I couldn't. So I just talked to another seller about maybe purchasing all of my items that I couldn't list because I was gated, and I was in the process of kind of boxing them up. And then I just happened to check, and then all of a sudden the floodgates opened. I could sell every single thing that I was about to sell off to someone else at cost, and a zillion more things. Now, what was the magic that happened. I think it just was a case of once you get to a certain sales volume, then they just open up more and more and more. So you never know. Just because you can't sell it today doesn't mean you might be able to sell it tomorrow. So don't get discouraged. Just keep plugging away is what I'd say.
Excellent. Sarah, did you want to add to that? Again, we're talking about, for anybody who's just joining at the moment, we're addressing newbies that are frustrated because they just feel like they can't sell anything.
Right. I would definitely, as everybody has said, the houseware section. And I think a lot of people don't find it interesting, so don't want to stand in Walmart and scan their whole houseware section. But there are such gems in there. And I will tell you, when Walmart brings out holiday decoration items, go scan all of those. You are not gated in those. You're not gated in any Walmart house brands. So those are the first things you should look at for scanning. And to piggyback Karen, one thing I do is I scan my pantry, my medicine cabinet, my whole house. If I buy it, I scan it, because you never know when you're going to get ungated. I'm not really looking for profit. I'm just saying, am I finally ungated in Pantene? Am I ungated in Scope? So that's an easy way to just keep rolling, because just like Karen said, she didn't know she was going to be suddenly ungated. So you have to keep trying to get ungated even when you're not shopping.
Amazing advice.
That's so convenient too, Sarah. I mean, you hear it over and over again, scan things in your house. And I think that's not really what we want to do, because you don't get the rush, when you're in the store and you find something for $2 and you scan it and you can sell it for $45, you get excited. But really, to save yourself some of the time and frustration in the store, just scan some things at home and find some brands.
I forgot all about that. And while everybody else is out there in the stores using software, you don't know, you might find that as Sarah said, that gem that's out there and nobody else is thinking about it, How about you, Nate and Elizabeth? Is there something you could add on that as far as newbies being frustrated that they can't sell anything?
You're going to be frustrated. It happens to everybody. You just have to be persistent, keep scanning, just knock off blocks. Like they said, go to a particular section, start from one end to the other. It might take you a few hours. That sounds like a long time, but the time goes really fast once you're scanning. And once it hits, it hits. When you get that first scan that you're open in, then that's when you get super excited, because then you're like, okay, I finally hit one. It's like hitting the lotto. I got it, and I'm going to play again. Right. Then you just keep scanning. It happens to every single one of us. You get frustrated. Sometimes it's a couple of days. Sometimes it's a couple of weeks. It just depends. The more time you put in, the more stuff you scan, you will get something that you're ungated in.
Yeah. And it still happens even now. Sometimes you see something that's great, it's great, but when you scan it, the numbers aren't right. And it's a really good product, but the numbers at the margin that you need to get at, it's not right.
Or we're gated.
Or you're gated. So you just keep going.
I want to piggyback on that very thing, because one of the things that I'm still trying to do now is to maybe unload some of those products that I had in the early days. In the very earliest days when I was a fresh newbie, I was so excited if ever I could find something that I was ungated in, that I just wanted to buy it. No matter, I wanted to buy it and I wanted to sell it. I wanted to send it in. It didn't matter. I really wasn't paying attention to the evaluation process to determine, all right, can you really sell this at a profit? All I know is, I can buy it right now for $5 and, it's selling on Amazon for $25. That's great. But guess what? The Amazon fees are, like $18. And so by the time it's done, you got $2. And oh, by the way, you know, nobody's buying it. It's not a hot product. So I would also caution that in the early days, just take your time, scan the products, but also focus on learning the evaluation process, because you'll save yourself from buying products that, yes, you're ungated in, but nobody is buying. Those are out there too. So
not only that, but once you start scanning things, you'll kind of like notice like certain patterns. You'll notice maybe certain lines of product in a category. Maybe you'll find Amazon on a lot of listings. You know, for example, let's say diapers. You know, you might find Amazon on a lot of those listings, but then you might come across some like organic diaper or something like that that Amazon won't be on, and you know that'll be a big hit. You know, people are so, you know, doing the scanning thing. However, I would suggest if you type in what you're looking for, you know, just the generic, you know, just the brand and, you know, um, maybe what it is, maybe like Huggies is a brand, and then put in diapers, and you'll see all the listings for Huggies diapers. And so if you're standing in there in a section that has like all the Huggies diapers products, you know, you could see all the listings. Not only that, but if there's multi-pack listings, they might not come up with when you're just scanning. They're only going to come up when you type in the name of what you're looking for.
That is huge. That is huge, guys. Hey, Dina, is there something you wanted to add to the?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. Yes. I agree with what everyone is saying. I started out in January, and I started out with books, mostly adult coloring books. So I kind of started out a little slow, but after a while, I decided to go ahead and invest in getting ungated. So I used Frontier Co-op to get ungated in groceries and topicals and a few other things. And I think that that's where I really started to make some type of traction on as far as items that I'm able to sell. And I'll never forget one of my most memorable moments when I started out is I too was feeling very frustrated, like I couldn't find anything. And also, if I did find something, it seemed like Amazon would be on there taking the darn price. And so anyway, so one day I went to, I think it was Marshall's or TJ Maxx, and I was getting this vitamin C serum for my face, and I brought it home, started using it, and something said, go ahead and scan that vitamin C for the face and see what happens. And sure enough, it was a profitable product. And so I went right back to TJ Maxx or Marshall's, wherever I went, and got all of them. I got all of them. So,
right.
So just that, having that one win, really like lit my fire, and it kind of progressed from there. And also another tip that I think that some people may not think about is you can also go to stores if you feel kind of uncomfortable standing there scanning things, because some people are kind of shy about that. I know I was a little bit in the beginning. You can take pictures of products, like rows and rows of products, and if there's something that you're super interested in, you can take pictures of the barcodes or whatever, and when you go home you can take those pictures and look those items up, and also try to auto engage yourself as well as you do that, and do more research as to the profitability of those items. So that's what I can add there.
Yo, that's pretty good. I never thought about that. If you're trying to get in and out, go ahead and you could just take pictures and then get the heck out of there and do the further research that you would have been doing physically in the store. You can do it on your own time. Now, of course, that means you'll have to double back, but by then you go in knowing what you want, and you can beeline right to those items. That is huge. Or even you can do a combination. A lot of times, when some of us that do retail arbitrage, and for those of you who don't know, retail arbitrage is where you're physically going into the stores as opposed to online where you're just shopping online. You know, kind of like Elizabeth said, man, 2-3 hours is gone before you know it. You're getting hungry, you're getting tired, but you hate to leave without, you don't want to leave anything on the table. You've done some shopping, you got 2-3 carts full. Go ahead and just take pictures of the rest and and get on out of there. That is excellent advice. Let's see. Oh, see if we got any other questions. And guys, if you to the panel, if you see any questions that I'm not getting to that you wanna hit up, we can get on those.
I would just add something. So this is an experience I remember when I was relatively new. So I think I mentioned here before that I formerly did mostly eBay before Amazon, and that's a whole different kind of thing. Typically, it's not the whole level of analysis that you have with Amazon. So I was accustomed to going into a store, finding things that were on clearance, and like, okay, well, this looks like this would be good. This would be good. So, and I didn't really like to, just go from one item to another scanning. So I go in Walmart, for instance, and I find all these things and I put them in my basket. And then I'd find an area of the store that was kind of secluded. And then I'd start going through and scanning these things. And one after another, I just have to put them back on the shelf. Like either I was gated, or maybe I wasn't gated, but it was selling on Amazon for less than the price that I was able to purchase it for in the store. And it was so discouraging. But inevitably, I find at least something. And then I moved on to being willing to understand that even finding things that you can't sell is part of the process. That's part of the process. If I can't sell L'Oreal, then now I've ruled out L'Oreal, at least for now, and I don't have to scan the L'Oreal products anymore. So it's part of the process, and I had to be willing to, I'd say you have to be willing to go in the store and come out empty-handed. Because if you're not willing to come out empty-handed, you're going to make foolish purchases, and it can really cost you money. And the one other thing I'd say before I stop talking is
no, you're fine.
that early on it starts slow for a lot of people, and I think truthfully, in retrospect, that's a good thing, because you want to start slow and make your mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes you can make with this, not fully reading the listings well enough, not really realizing that it's the price on Amazon is for 6 items and you thought it was for 1 because the title didn't say anything about 6 items. Not until you scroll down into the bottom of the description, it says pack of 6. So you want to, have time and give yourself space and grace to make mistakes. Use that time to make your mistakes, learn about the platform. It'll be okay. It will pick up.
And you're going to make your mistakes, guys.
Those mistakes.
Don't think you're going to get into this and not. Thanks to Baldy Lake, he says consistency is the key to be a winner. You talk about, and this guy who just put this comment in here, Baldy Lake, goes back. He's another guy that goes way back before we started having anything, at this level. So that's a guy who you can listen to. And you guys know how I am. I'm big on expectations, because when you come into anything with the proper expectations, then you have a realistic, goal that you can go for, and you're not going to be disappointed. But it doesn't happen overnight for everyone. There are going to be those unicorns, and you can't compare yourself to them. So,
someone mentioned something about the requirements for toys. I think that's kind of interesting.
Okay, let's take it. Which one is that?
Elson Carey's from Southern California.
Is that the one? How do you
Yes.
feel about Amazon not sending out their Q4 toys and game requirements for merchant fulfilled? Last year was my first Q4, and I remember they sent an email out in late July. Does anybody want to take that?
Yeah, I think that since you had to meet those requirements last year, if you met them last year, you don't have to redo it.
Okay.
Because some newbies right now are getting that notice.
Okay.
Sarah, could you explain a little bit what that is, what that's about?
Sure. I don't remember the exact numbers, but you have to have a certain amount of merchant fulfilled orders in order to qualify to merchant fulfilled toys, just toys in Q4. So I forget if it's 10 or 20 successful merchant fulfilled orders, and it gives you a percentage of successful on your dashboard. But Amazon sends an email telling you, they send several emails telling you need to meet these requirements. So if you didn't get that, you probably have already met it because you do so much merchant fulfilled already, or they're telling you need to do it. So that's why a lot of people don't see it.
What's going on in the chat? It looks like this AET Industries is helping people out by actually dropping ASINs in here. Is he helping us to get ungated? I don't know what that conversation is. Thank you, AET Industries. Whoever you are, make sure you contact me outside of here. If we are not connected, make sure you get connected with me so we can get you a Working Class Hustler t-shirt as my little way of saying thank you. This is what we need, guys like you that will actually help us and actually give some workable solutions that we can actually apply. That is amazing. There was something else I wanted to attack here. Somebody was saying okay, looked like that might have already been taken care of.
Boy, how soon we forget. I forget. I was trying to think, what did I sell early on? And all I could think of, this is pretty crazy. I could sell, and it was a hot seller for a long time, I could sell roach bait. I mean,
I had rat traps.
I mean, I just scanned and it was hot. My roach baits were a hot thing for a long time. Not anymore. But for a long time, I could count on that my roach bait was going to sell like every day. At least one.
Did you have to merchant fulfill those, Karen? Did you have to merchant fulfill those, or could you send those into Amazon?
I could send them into Amazon.
Okay.
They were hot shot roach bait.
Okay, so not the spray, just the little thing that you kind of sit down somewhere.
Like roach traps.
Right.
The little traps. I don't know. I don't even know how I don't know. But it worked for a while. And you know, this is really a hustler's world because it's ever changing. That's the other thing you got to know about this thing. It always changes. You know, roach bait was my bread and butter for a period of time, but then Home Depot raised the price on the roach bait, and someone else got on the listing and tanked the price. And then, before you know it, I had 50 roach baits sitting in the warehouse because I was really loading them up because I just thought roach bait was gonna be the key to my success, and I can't give those things away now. I just need to call them back in. Probably.
How long has it been since you've been sitting on that roach bait?
I don't think I sold roach bait since February.
Okay, because the reason I I ask that. And real quick, for those of you who are watching this right now, in the comments, all of the things that the panelists gave us as far as for newbies that are frustrated because you feel you can't sell anything. I've been taking notes on all the tips and the advice, and we're gonna put a PDF, a link that you can get the PDF to all of that. That way you have that and you can kind of have it, right there that you can utilize. So just come back and check in the description. We're going to drop that a little bit later tonight. But Karen, the reason I was asking is because what I have found, and I want to address this as a panel, and I know you and I are more the slow and steady types. We're not real fast trying to just pound it out. What I found is patience goes a long way. I mean, I've helped people out, giving out ASINs, had a whole bunch of people jump on it, tank it, and I just wait. And in a little bit, everybody that wanted to tank it, they accomplished their mission. They tanked it, they got the sale, they felt good about moving product and regenerating money, recirculating money, and then all mine start selling at the price that I wanted. So with the roach bait, I was just wondering how long it was sitting out there, because eventually those that want to tank prices, they tank them. And it just seems to me like tankers work in groups. They all find a product, they all jump on it, kill it, and then they're following each other to other things to tank. So I don't know. What do you say about that?
Horace, what do you mean by tank the price? I mean, when you're new, you don't even know the vocabulary, the terminology. So what does that mean? What people jump on and tank your price?
What that means is just bringing the price down to a point where no one is making any money. Oftentimes you'll hear it referred to as the race to the bottom, and that bottom meaning that price is so low, none of us are going to make any money, or we're going to try and be happy making 25 cents.
Right. So desperate to make a sale, which I understand. I mean, but not necessarily the best long-term strategy.
Go ahead, Dina.
I just wanted to add, getting back to tips for new people being frustrated. I took a bit of a shortcut as well, because I'm an impatient person, unfortunately. I would just like to say, and I know Horace is going to bring this up in the end, I am a student of his total training system program, and that really helped me out tremendously, because I was able to take the ungated leads list and see, I had no idea that I could sell toys, even though I hadn't really applied to be ungated in toys. There's certain toys that you can sell. You're not gated in everything. So just seeing that list really helped me out tremendously and gave me an idea of what I could and couldn't sell, and opened my eyes. And I feel like that kind of fast track, having something like that fast tracks. And I wanted to say that it's important to clarify the difference between an ungating list and an ungated leads list. So basically, I don't know if Horace can talk about that a little bit, but I'll say what I can. So an ungating list is something that you kind of probably pay for, and they give you instructions on how to be ungated in certain types of products, certain brands. Whereas an ungated leads list, the one that like Horace provides, it's just it kind of gives you a list of ASINs and products that are profitable for that period of time, and how much money you can make off of it if you buy it at that price. So that's what I have to say about that.
Well, thanks. Yeah, that is something that I offer. I tried to share the screen to show what that is. Basically, the Arbitrage Total Trading System is designed specifically for newbies because it just takes into account everything that they need. They do need lists because they haven't learned how to source products, but just having a list, it usually comes to you in the form of a spreadsheet. Without any coaching, you're being given a fish without being taught how to fish. So with the spreadsheets that you get from me, you also get an accompanying video that goes over each list. It shows the product at the sourcing site, shows the product on
Yeah.
Amazon, and I'm talking you through so that you learn to think as I think, and then you'll get the results that I get. But it also you get access to me, and there are other things that are available. So yeah, that is something you want to take advantage of. If you're a newbie, you're going to learn about lists, and there are a lot of people that are on lists. But as a newbie, if there was a way to get leads that are specifically for ungating, I mean, that gets you started. Guys, I've been selling on Amazon for a long time, but I'm going to tell you the real. At the end of the day, Amazon is a business, and it's not for everybody. So this is why I don't push $1,000 courses and a whole bunch of stuff before you even figure out, are you a match for it? For those of you watching this that are in the United States of America, this is one of the greatest countries in the world because you don't have to do just one thing. This isn't for everybody. I sell on this, I teach it and everything else, and I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not for everybody. It's not passive income. It is work. And if you don't want it, it doesn't make you a bad person. There are other opportunities. But the question is, why did you come here? You didn't just decide one day, I want to sell on Amazon. It is what you can get out of selling on Amazon. Okay? And you can get those same things somewhere else. My thing is this. There is a journey. There's a quest until you find the right business model that works for you. How much do you really want to lay out? And that's why we came out with some of the products that we do. And that's why most of the time I try to give as much as I can right on the channel.
I couldn't believe it when I first started listening to tuning into the channel. I just couldn't even believe it. Like Horace would just throw out ASINs left and right. So that's another tip. Watch the videos because Horace is always throwing out ASINs like crazy. Just off rip to anybody,
To the panel, I didn't realize AET Industries is Eric. Eric is one of the panelists.
Oh, hi, Eric.
I'm trying to give him a t-shirt. He already got the mug. So thanks for joining us. Eric is a terrific panelist, very knowledgeable. He's helped us in our private Zoom calls. That's where we really get down to the nitty gritty as far as getting ungated and all of this other kind of stuff. So thank you to him.
There's another way to use a leads list. And what I've found that is more valuable than the list on the day that you get it is using that list in time. If you use it 60 or 90, if you use the list that you got 60 or 90 days ago and you go in and you look at those things, you're going to find stuff. And you might see where, a bunch of sellers came on the listing, the price went down, then you'll see the sellers come off the listing. So you might want to check that product. And if it's still not profitable when the price came back up, so that might clue you into at the period of time when sellers started coming on the listing, that might have been a sale item at that period in time. Because a lot of stores, when they have stuff for sale, it goes on cycles. And if you start to keep track of those cycles, that'll tell you when you can buy stuff. And somebody asked the question about replens last week. And I wanted to make a point about this. Everybody thinks like a replen is like, a grocery item or, another consumable or, something like that. Straightforward, a replen is something you can buy and sell over and over again, period. That's it. Doesn't matter what it is, the category it's in. And you'll notice, like, if you get something that sells like, I don't know, let's say maybe 5 times a month and it makes you $4 each time, but that's, one more thing at Walmart that you could pick up. So now instead of picking up 10 things at Walmart, now you're picking up, 15 and you add another one on. And so, then you have a whole list of things, to pick up in one particular store each month. Just saying.
Right. Very, very good point. I really like the point about having lists and coming back, and that can apply even if you're using software like Tactical Arbitrage. For those of you who know, I have a saying, all roads lead to Tactical Arbitrage. But when you get those search results, you can save those and come back later. And I love that because now, like sort of like Brian is saying, when you come back, that's your real proof. When you're doing your evaluation, hustlers, you have to understand there is an element of risk every time you buy a product. I don't care how many charts, graphs, and nice stuff you're looking at that gives you data. All of that is important, but there's still an element of risk. Okay? That risk lessens when you've looked at a product, everything looked good, and you didn't do nothing. 2 months later, it's still there and it's still looking good. Now you have the odds. This is a system of odds. Life is a system of odds. And now the odds are greater that you have found a product that's solid. Because a lot of times we're looking at charts and graphs. That's a snapshot in time. And you're going to learn real quick. Times change. By the time you get the product, along with 15 other people that you didn't know was sourcing it, by the time you get it into the warehouse, never knowing that Amazon was having their own stock of that same product come into the warehouse. I mean, there's just a lot of things. But the advice that Brian just gave requires patience. It requires consistency, dedication. You ain't going to do this today. You got to get started today and be able to look back 90 days. That means you got to be in the business for 90 days, not trying to get rich quick. Okay? I tend to rant in case you didn't know that. But I don't really like to talk, so I'm going to shut up.
Good point. Good point.
I just I wanted to add something, kind of going back to when I said take pictures at the store and come back home and look them up. You can also, sometimes when you're scanning items in stores, you don't see that the item is part of a kit or a bundle. So if you take pictures, you can also go home and find kits and bundles. And if the item isn't profitable individually, maybe it's profitable as a bundle or as a kit or as a multi-pack.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
It is so important, Tadina. It just makes me think about, as a newbie, you really, really have to learn to very, very carefully read the listings. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how many times I made mistakes in the beginning. I remember one time there was some wax candle tarts or something. And I was like, okay, well, I can get those and I can sell those. But then I didn't realize, there was a yellow organza bag that came with the tarts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I didn't have any yellow organza bags. So then I couldn't sell that. And until I did get some. But the point is, they didn't say what brand the yellow organza bags had to be. But the point is, you got to know that, or else, here's something else that you really want to guard against. You want to be super careful early on about matching the UPC codes and the pictures, and you just really want to be super careful because the negative feedback that I have, or voice of the, I think it's
the voice of the customer.
From a year ago, like in my first couple of months, I got 2 negative ratings for something. It was just a newbie mistake. It just was an honest error, but it takes a while to get rid of those things. So,
okay. And Karen, just to piggyback on yours, I came across something. In fact, it was just like yesterday or the day before. There was an item that was packaged. It's like it was a retail box with all the branding and all that stuff, and inside were 2 things. They were like 2 sprays for something or another. Maybe it's a mouth spray, or I think it's like a mouth spray for dry mouth or something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, it contained 2 things inside that box. So the first thing I do is I look at the Amazon title. I say, does the Amazon title, does it match the picture? And then after that, I notice on that particular picture, it had the little, 2-pack with the little Amazon smile thing. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. It doesn't say anything about that in the title. So then when I look at the bullet points, one of the bullet points says 2-pack means that there are 2 individual items inside the retail box. So that for me says that is so confusing to the consumer, and that right there, I just said, nope, not even going to touch it.
Don't even do
not
it.
even going
Good
to.
point.
Amazon sent something out more recently about how they're changing something about that and how they're like cost per unit. I thought that they were already doing that, but apparently they're about to display like cost per unit to try to help alleviate some of that confusion of how much is in a pack or how many items are in a pack.
Because some of the listings are poorly written, and so it could be very confusing or ambiguous to be taken a couple of different ways. So you don't want to get caught up with that either. Oh, goodness.
Mr. Carey has a question for us. Thoughts and opinions on Amazon's recent email about Congress regarding third-party sellers and our future. Amazon made it seem like they have to pick and choose between Amazon or third-party sellers.
That's an interesting thing. Anybody know about that?
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, it's really big right now in the reseller community on Facebook and things like that. But see, Amazon only reached out to like some of their top sellers or people who make like a certain amount of money a year, and they sent them a letter saying, "Hey, this is what's going on in legislation. You guys had better speak up because you third-party sellers could be kicked off the platform because of this, because we're not going to have a choice. You're going to have to go. This affects you. So you need to send it to your legislators and sign this petition." But many of the people that were sent that letter decided not to sign the petition with Amazon because Amazon's asking for their for the MWS token, I believe, and they don't want to be caught up in anything. So they just kind of let that go. Now, some people speculate that Amazon is just trying to, it's their scare tactic. They're just trying to bully people or whatever. But other people believes that it can really happen. I think it can happen. So that's why I think that we should all have, I don't want to say a backup plan, but we should all have multiple platforms or even our own websites to sell on as well, just in case something like this does happen. I don't know like how soon, if it does happen, how soon it will. But I think you should always don't have all your eggs in one basket is what I'm trying to say.
I agree. Nate, did you have something to add?
The whole problem, most likely it's not going to happen, maybe not even in 10 years. Here's the whole problem. Third-party sellers are 60% of Amazon. 60%, not 50, 60. They're not going to let it cut their business because it's about money.
And third party is what
it's going to be talk.
Yeah.
But
and they
it's
have
not
lobbyists. You cannot believe they don't need us to call our legislators. They need to take their lobbyists down and take some senators out to dinner. That's how things get done, not by us complaining.
Well, here's the gist of it as I understand it.
Yeah, what's the gist of it?
Here's what the gist of what we're talking about. And when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. As I understand it, the issue is Amazon has a platform on which they compete with the sellers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
that's right. That's right.
They are sellers, and then they charge us to also be sellers, and they compete with us, right? Okay. I mean, oftentimes the price gets tanked on the listing you've got by Amazon, and so there's I'm not sure if conflict of interest is the right term, but Amazon is being called on the carpet for getting us coming and going, basically. If I can if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And let me just throw something in there real quick, because I've been selling on Amazon for a long time, and I came from the supplement industry. There was a company that I was dealing with. I met at a show similar to where Nate and Elizabeth went to last week. This manufacturer was out of Canada, and I was the only seller that was selling that product. And then they called me. This Canadian manufacturer called me and said, "Hey, Amazon contacted us because they wanted to knock you out." And they want to start. And they, of course, they have the capacity to purchase truckloads. And you know that company out of Canada actually sided with me. There were a few other of us selling it. And eventually something happened and they could no longer sell in America. But that was like a year down the road or whatever. But when Karen says that it is Amazon getting us coming and going, let's unpack that. Amazon would not be where they are today if it weren't for us, because we are the ones that basically allowed them to not have to invest the amount of money that they would have had to invest 60% more, roughly, if you want to look at it that way. And we take the risk because Amazon is sitting back watching us. From the time we sent that in FBA, they're already getting us because their storage. They get to sit back and watch. Is the product selling? How well is it selling? And they're collecting with every sale.
And if it sells well, they'll be joining us.
So guess what? They made money coming, going, and in the middle. And basically they're using us to do the work and figure out, and then they're cherry picking. And all of a sudden, oh man, I was selling these pork rinds.
So they're kind of saying, well, if this were to go through, then we'd be prohibited from using our platform to sell ourselves as well as third-party sellers. And so sort of the fear tactic is, well, so then we'd have to kick you off and you just, where would you be? But this is why I think, Nate, you're saying, oh, that's probably not going to happen, because Amazon knows not only do they get money from their own sales, but they get so many fees from third-party sellers. They're really invested in keeping this things the way they are. And as Sarah indicated, they have lobbyists and lawyers, and so we'll see what ultimately happens. But man, they would put up a good fight.
I think that they could kick us off. I mean, I know I hate to sound on doom and gloom. I don't know how soon that would happen, but I think that they very well could. If given a choice to do so, like choose between themselves and us, I really do think that they could kick us off. But they may pick and choose who they kick off. Are they going to keep the top sellers and get rid of the people who don't sell? Like they may pick and choose, and that may be what happens there. So I just say, that's why I say always have a backup.
Either way, your advice, Fredina, is the best. This legislation aside, it's the best. Always have other platforms that you're selling on, because aside from this legislation, I mean, any given day you could make some mistake inadvertently that Amazon deems as fatal to your account and just cut you off just before you know it, or suspend your account. Happened.
I was suspended
weeks or months. That
years.
Always happen.
So I was suspended for 3 years, so I know.
3 years?
Oh my, yeah.
And you came back?
Oh my, I came back. But see, like Tradina, when they suspended me, I had other platforms that I was actually making more money than I was making on Amazon anyway. This was back in 2014 when they kicked me off. But check this out. Who out here remembers when there was the big to-do about sales tax? That was a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And you see how that ended up, because there were people running like the town crier, Paul Revere, as far as doom and gloom. And states were coming after third-party sellers about that tax stuff. And in the end, the right thing was done. Amazon is the market facilitator, so why should we have to be collecting sales tax? You want me to collect sales tax, Amazon? Give me the customer's credit card information and I'll charge them. No, you don't want me talking to them. I bet not talk to them about nothing except that product. So no, you're the facilitator. Let's make sure, because I'm going to have
a couple other questions. Yeah.
I wanted to. Did anybody know what is your take on Q4 groups? Are there some groups out there that help us with Q4 sourcing? What's that about?
Yeah, there's a lot of those right now.
Okay.
But they're charging a lot of money to be a part of them. Some people don't mind that. They've been saving up all year to be a part of those groups, but I don't think it would be any different from any other group that you would be a part of throughout the year. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think some of them are bolos, the be on the lookout groups, and they charge you up like $75 to $100 a month to be in the group. And you have to contribute leads to get leads.
Okay, did somebody want to add to that?
Right.
Yeah, I would say, first, before even thinking about, purchasing anything, make sure that you have the money to do so. Don't spend, money you're going to spend on inventory for some, Q4 group that, may or may not work out for you. Spend money
that's
on
my point.
inventory first. And then going back to that Amazon thing, that also does include Walmart, includes Google, Facebook, and Apple, and there's like one or two others. So it includes a whole gamut of things. For going back to the Q4 thing, sorry, my mind just jumps around so quickly.
It's okay.
You have to think and this is for like any training, you have to think, what is the benefit that you're going to get out of it? All the training does is fast track your knowledge, because, to think about it, to get ungated in, CDs and DVDs or whatever. Everything, you can find everything online to get ungated in anything that you want. It takes, time to vet out the information. So you have to decide, is that Q4 group, is it going to be really worth it to you? Is it just about the bolos? I've seen one group, not only do they have bolos, but they also teach, how to merchant fulfill. They also teach how to create a listing. They also teach how to create a bundle listing, and a few other things. But it like somebody else said, it's not cheap. It comes at a cost.
Bolo equals be on the lookout for X product at X store, right?
Yeah. So to keep it pushing, guys, because we're coming up on time, but I want to make sure we get through some of these questions. Baldy was asking, has anyone got insurance? I can tell you that I got insurance last month. I met the requirements that would make it absolutely necessary. I had put it off. I went with the one lady, and Karen turned me on to her. I can't think of her name right now.
Is it Ashley Haddon?
Yeah, Ashley. And you know what? You got to have $1 million worth of insurance if you meet the criteria, whatever. I thought I was expecting to spend like $800 for the year. It only cost me around $600. I was pleasantly surprised with that. So did anybody want to add to that as far as insurance?
I do. Last week, we also have Ashland. Now, last week on the 31st, we got an email saying that the change we requested had been completed, and I didn't request a change. So I contacted them, and apparently Amazon changed from Amazon.com LLC to Amazon.com Services LLC. And you had to have that updated on your insurance policy because they are listed as a covered vendor. If you don't make that change, is what I was told by Ashlyn, if you don't make that change by September 1st, your account could be suspended and your payments could be suspended as well. Mind you, I got this on the 31st, and they said that this could take place, or it had to take place by the 1st, and I was a little bit upset. But after a little bit of back and forth, it was taken care of, and I had it done and submitted to Amazon, and I got a response from them within 24 hours, so it was good. But the last minute thing, it was infuriating. So for those of you that have it, double check that you have the correct name on your policy, because if you don't, Amazon could very well suspend you.
And the correct name you said was, what was the correct name? Amazon. It was Amazon.com LLC. It's Amazon.com Services LLC. You can contact your agent. If you have Ashlyn, then they automatically did it for you, and they're going to send you notifications, but you have to be the one to submit it to Amazon. The way we uploaded it. Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
They don't automatically send it to Amazon. We have to do it ourselves, but they will make changes for you. So I would say log on to your policy, call the actual insurance company. And no, Ashlyn's not taking phone calls. She's only doing things by email. So you can contact, with Ashlyn, it's the Hartford. You can contact the Hartford and they'll answer the questions for you. But just verify. You can go into Seller Central under settings where the business section is. It says the business insurance, and if you click on that, it'll tell you if your insurance certificate is on file. If not, you need to submit
It's
it.
supposed to be on file by September 1st, but this only applies to sellers who have sold $10,000 in 1 month. If you're not quite at that level, newbies, you've got a while before you have to worry about that for sure. But just know there's cost involved. That's the other thing. There's expenses involved with running this business beyond your inventory costs.
We're going into Q4.
Yeah.
We're going into Q4. And those toys. You got a lot of liability.
Yeah, the serious liability, especially with the toys. We're not going to do toys at all. We sent some in, and as soon as we sent them in, compliance. And then we actually had a few of them that were deactivated. So we just called back everything, and everything else that we had, we're putting it on other platforms. I'm not going through that with Amazon. Although we have the insurance in case something happens, but if we can't even get the listing to become active because of all the compliance issues that they're having, it's costing me money by stressing over trying to find the certificates. Where do I get it? Do I submit it? All the cases. For that, I list it somewhere else and keep it pushing.
Right. Somebody was asking, who do we use for insurance? We touched on that. Ashland Hayden is who we use.
You can just do a search engine, Google search, whoever you use, and put in there what companies supply business insurance for Amazon or for resellers. And it should come up, and you can check to see if they service your state.
Okay, someone was asking, when they text the words working class hustler in order to get connected with me, do you get a reply? Yes, you do. Those replies initially are automated. There was a time where I could handle that, and it's just gotten too big for me. So you will get the replies. It's going to prompt you to actually fill out a quick questionnaire so that we can better serve you. But eventually, once you're connected and you start to text, call, or whatever, that's when you will be dealing with me, La Machine. How do you set up insurance? You'll go through that with the agency, and then once you're issued your policy, you will need to upload it, and that's not difficult at all. Your insurance company will give you a file that you will be able to update or upload.
It's a one-page letter. It's called Certificate of Insurance.
Correct.
It basically has the name of the company. It's just like your car insurance. It says how much you're covered for, what the different items are it's covered, and when the policy started and when it ends.
Correct.
On the seller app, there's a category called news on the seller app. On August 10th is the date. If you check the news for August the 10th, you can read about the insurance requirements. You can read about the vendors that Amazon has procured to assist sellers with pricing and obtaining insurance. Ashley Hayden, I do not believe is on that list, but she was doing this before. It seems, way before others caught on. So, but if you want to really, everybody should just read up themselves to see, what the requirements are. It's August 10th, and the news item was actually under expanding A to Z guarantee to protect customers and sellers. That's where the information about their insurance requirement is.
Okay, hustlers, we're gonna have to wrap for now. Make sure you check out all of the resources that we have on the channel for your business. For example, the Lightning courses. This is going to help you with using the software tactical arbitrage. Make sure you check out, we got a couple of videos that give my 7 steps to determining whether or not you have a product that you can sell. The wait is over. The Chrome extension Tactical Forecaster is now available, and as you can see in this picture, what it does is when you're looking through your search results in Tactical Arbitrage. It will highlight the ASIN in either green or red, so you don't even have to waste time clicking the check restrictions tab. So that's going to save you time. If you're interested in that, the link will be in the description. Panelist, you will see me for your complimentary copy later.
Ooh, game changer.
Oh, absolutely. So this is going to end it, guys. Once again, make sure if you need me, text the words Working Class Hustler to the number on your screen. Join the Working Class Hustler family. We'll see you as always on Friday with our next uploaded video. And until then, I will see you guys. Love you all. All the panelists, wave goodbye to the wonderful working class hustlers of America and all over the globe. We are out. Panelists, don't leave. See you in the back end right now.